What's up, nerds? Welcome to the Arcadia National Podcast. We are super happy to just keep pumping out these episodes. The more we make, the more you'll have to listen to. Welcome to the party. As always, I am J-Lo.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Amy.
And Dave with you at the end.
So, lots of nerdy stuff going on. I guess we'll go by the usual thing. We'll talk about what we're drinking. I have in front of myself a made on honor, sold on merit, the Narragansett Lager. Since 1890.
I see you're taking my strategy from last week of $2 $3 pounders to get us through this episode.
I have doubled up this week, yes. I probably won't be burping as much as you, though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There was no burps.
Yes. I'm drinking the Mountain, which is by Bandit Horn. It is a 12% beer, aptly named after the mountain from Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire. It is delicious for a 12% beer. You can hardly taste the 12%, but boy, can you feel it after you drink it. It's delicious, malty chocolatey, but with no chocolate in the brewing process, I believe. Just a really tasty 10-ounce pour.
I've got the Bantam Rojo cider once again, as usual. There are apples involved in the brewing process of this cider.
I believe it is apples.
I like it a lot. It's great.
And it was gorgeous out today, so I was feeling like a little summertime, and I have a nice little tasty fresh margarita.
Yum.
Excellent choice. Yeah, what's going on in the Nord world? We just got a new pinball machine. We just got a Star Wars trilogy made by Sega, which is one of, I believe, at least I think there's 3 total Star Wars machines that exist. There's Star Wars Episode 1, there's Data East Star Wars, and then there's Sega Star Wars, which we happen to be lucky enough to have in our collection.
I think there might be one
Whoa.
more as well. I think there are 4, but I'll verify that later in the episode.
Absolutely. So the way that Star Wars works is it's really neat. There's a lot of cool toys on it. There's a giant cannon from the Death Star Trench Run. There's an X-Wing that serves as the cannon shot, kind of like on Terminator 2, and also kind of like on AC/DC or Star Trek Next Generation. Sorry, I said 2 different sci-fi in the same episode. There's a TIE fighter. I think it's Vader's TIE fighter on the right. That's kind of cool. There's a Han Solo and Carbonite thing. It's a pretty neat game. There's a lot of very forgiving shots, and it's pretty neat. There's 6 different modes that are called heroics, which if you... I just love the name. That is considered a heroic. And each one is based on a different character. There's a Chewbacca one where you're trying to put C-3PO back together. There's a C-3PO and R2-D2 one where you're trying to save them from the trash compactor. There's a Leia one where you're trying to choke Jabba on the sail barge. It's neat. It's got a lot of throwbacks to the original episode 4, 5, 6 trilogy.
Awesome.
And it's got a couple of really cool multi-balls.
I'd say it's my top-rated pinball machine when you have to choke something for a mode.
Exactly.
I know there's only
Exactly.
a few, but it's my number 1.
Yeah, the rope is breaking.
Oh no!
Oh no! So that's been pretty cool. Anyone played any new games lately? I have a couple, but...
Yeah, so I just picked up Mario and Luigi Paper Jam for my 3DS. I love this game so much. I've been playing hours every single day when I get home from work. It's if you've ever played either Paper Mario or Super Mario RPG back in the way back times,
Which was a Thursday?
yeah, it's really fun. It's got some turn-based RPG gameplay, but you also get to run around the world and jump and hit blocks still, which is really fun.
I think one of my favorite things about that series of games is that it has, at least the Paper Mario, it has the sort of RPG elements of a static fight where you're in a fight with a certain monster, but then you also get to do active elements to all of the attacks. Like if you jump, you have to bounce. If you use the hammer, you have to charge it and then use it right. Is that similar in this game too?
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to kind of get your timing right, and you have to be paying attention. It's not something that you can be like, all right, attack, attack, attack. Because if you're not hitting that button when he's jumping on that guy's head, it's gonna be like, oh, you got 1 damage.
Yeah, 1 damage instead of the 7 you can get if
Great
you combo,
job.
bounce.
Right,
bounce.
exactly. Oh, you want to swing that hammer back and then just hit it with a stick because you waited too long and the hammer fell off?
Idiot.
Joke's on you.
That's one of my favorite elements of those series of games. I think Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga was one of the other ones. I think that was on the regular DS or even the Game Boy Advance, but that one was not only were you using your own abilities, but you also had a bunch of partner abilities that you had to save up points for and things like that.
Yeah, so this one you've got Mario, Luigi, and Paper Mario that you're controlling kind of in every fight.
Whoa! Whoa!
Check it out. It's really fun.
The name one more time, just so I can go and download it immediately.
Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
Paper Jam. I get it.
3DS.
Sarah?
Well, I downloaded another game for my 3DS because it was just the Pokemon anniversary. Ooh. And I have fulfilled my childhood dream. I grew up with blue, I got yellow, and now I have red.
Excellent. I also grew up with blue. It's because I actually had red and blue and a Game Boy Pocket, I believe. I got one at the same time.
Little purple one?
Yep, exactly. A see-through plastic. But I believe I was in the 5th grade, I think. But somebody back then probably still has my copy of red version. I lent it to someone, and they were less than favorable personality-wise.
So if you're listening, police.
Yeah, go back to Hawaii, where I'm from, and find this one. I think his name was Matt.
Very
Don't
Hawaiian.
find anyone named Matt.
Find somebody named Matt with a Pokemon Red, and they probably stole it from me. I'm so mad.
But even more exciting than that is that I have downloaded Stardew Valley.
Yes!
I
Welcome
am
to Twitch.
a farmer. I'm a farmer, guys. I got a little farm with a little dog, and I plant seeds, and I hoe the land before I plant the seeds.
Obviously.
And then I have to water them every single day. I have to go to town.
Unless it's raining. You don't have to water them when it's
yeah.
raining.
Is this like a Tamagotchi-esque, like, if you don't feed your thing, it dies? Like, you have to actually log in every day, or does it say in-game day?
In-game day.
Okay.
They go very quickly. I'm not very far into it. It's kind of exploratory. I think that I will play through one time and figure out where stuff is, and then the next time I'm going to kill it and be awesome.
To tag along, I have also downloaded Stardew Valley, and it's really neat. It's there's an in-game clock that will tell you how much energy you have left. You have energy to do certain things. You can go fishing. You can go hunting. You can chop down wood and build your different houses, and you go on these adventures. You can even get, depending on how you make your character in the very beginning, you can choose to be have dogs be your favorite or cats be your favorite, and depending on which one you pick, you will get one of those later on in the game. It's pretty neat. I haven't put as much time into it as Sarah has, but it's fun. It's really, really neat. You get to do all sorts of cool stuff. Oh my gosh! And all my like farming. You can do all of the things that Euro Farming Simulator 2015 can, except it is more fun and it looks better and it sounds better.
To
very
jump on
cute.
the Pokemon bandwagon, because it's the news, is Pokemon. I was not allowed necessarily to have video games as a child, which is very surprising for somebody who owns a bar that has video games in it.
When you say you weren't necessarily allowed,
Right. Well, so when I was in high school, I went on eBay and I got a Game Boy Color with Pokemon on it, and I had it sent to my best friend's house, where I then picked it up. I also did that with an electric scooter as well, where I sent them to my friend's house and then picked them up. And I still have that Game Boy Color to this day.
Do you still have that friend to this day?
Yes, I do.
Do you still have that scooter to this day?
I do not. Oh my God, I ran that out so quickly.
You ran it into the ground?
Yep, right into the ground. Well, it's
Was it an actual like branded scooter, or was it just like a Razor scooter?
It was
that
an
someone
electric.
put a-
It was an electric scooter. So I
what
brought
did
it
it run
to I
on?
brought it to high school. Electricity.
From where?
What did it run on? Electricity.
You plug it into the wall. Have you
No,
seen
I brought
electric
it.
cars?
I brought it to high school, and like, I was such a nerd. It's like, hey, I'm gonna be the cool kid now. Who's that dick on the electric scooter?
Oh.
Yeah, so that lasted like 4 days.
We still ask ourselves.
It was the best
that.
$120 I ever spent. I went to the post office and like wrote out a cashier's check. It was weird. The dealings that I had on eBay as a 15-year-old. But in terms of like games present day, that I'm sending to my friend's house, still, I'm trying to get Strikes and Spares back up on the floor. So by the
Come
time
on,
you're listening to
Dave.
this podcast,
Podcast.
by the time that you're listening to this, I
going so
will.
slow.
I'm hoping that Strikes and Spares is up on the floor. I've also been, it's been a week away from games a little bit for me. I've obviously been playing pinball a lot, Game of Thrones, and Star Wars. But I've been working closely with our brewers for Brewomania,
Hype.
and
Hype.
I have a quick Brewomania update. Again,
thank
that's
God.
April 3rd.
is
That
a
night will be
Sunday?
the night. We're going to put these beers on as soon as we open, so if you want to drink them, you probably want to be here relatively early. But you don't have to spend the whole day. I mean, there'll be some on. We'll see. I don't know.
You're going to want to
It
spend
depends
the whole
how
day.
many kegs of it we get, and we'll let you know. But I was just talking to Tim from Nice Brewing, who will actually be our guest next week on the podcast. So
Thanks,
very
Tim.
cool. We'll
Tim's
have
the man.
our first brewer to join us and talk about some of the things from his world. But he just brewed this today. It's called Here Comes the Honey. Here comes the honey. Here comes the honey.
That is awesome. So topical as always.
Yeah, it's Weiss base, 2 pounds of honey, Citra, Mandarina, Bavaria, and Hallertau hops. And he's going to add a half gallon of Miniola juice to the keg, which is
Wow.
kind of a tangerine-esque fruit to the keg
I'm
around
pretty
packaging
sure.
time.
We all
I
know
already
what
know
a
which one
Miniola
I'm going to
is.
drink a lot. Oh
Yeah,
my
right?
gosh.
Yeah, that
yeah.
sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's gonna
Unlike,
be-
I heard there was one last year that was pretty rough to drink.
What's that?
Was it the Slim Jim?
Oh, I thought it was
The
great.
Slender
No?
James.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Oh,
tasted
okay.
like a packaged meat product.
Yeah, it was like that's a style of beer that is rarely brewed. I know that
Was it a Rausch beer?
a Rausch beer, yeah, and we had one time from Banded Horn that I was like, what, I don't care if people take 2 weeks to drink this smoky beer, but because it was like drinking a campfire, but it was totally cool that Rising Tide incorporated that element and added meat to it. It was hilarious. It was just the spices. There was no actual meat. I promise. Those of you who drank it that are vegetarians.
So that's nice. Who else do we know that we have on the docket so far?
Yeah, we know we have Foundation, we have Austin Street, which is hard to come by because thankfully they're upping their beer production.
And is that run by Stone Cold Steve Austin?
It is Stone Cold Steve Austin's brewery.
That was last year. Was the Austin
Yeah.
Street 316, which is so great.
so good.
Yeah, no, we've got 7 local breweries in for that, and there's going to be a wrestling cosplay, prizes for best dressed.
I am ready.
Yeah,
I'm not
I know that
ready, but-
Amy's got hers, but
I'm
I don't want her to
inspired.
tell me yet. I want to be surprised.
Same.
Yeah, that's what's been going on recently, on my end.
That's very exciting. As usual, I find myself with my phone in my hand and playing a fair bit of mobile games, and I have to admit that I have fallen back onto the Supercell bandwagon. If you don't know, Supercell makes Clash of Clans, Boom Beach, the farming one, Hayride, Heyday. I think it's called Heyday.
Clash of Farmers, I think.
Clash of Beach Booms. They have a new game out that's called Clash Royale, and this is it's been really neat. It's a basically sort of tower defense light type game, except
love
you
tower
only
defense.
Tower defense is so fun.
The weird thing is you're not creating new towers. You're dropping units onto the field to both protect your towers and attack the enemy towers. Basically, you start with your own main castle in the back, which is if that gets destroyed, you lose. And then you have 2 sort of... That one does the most damage. That can damage other units, but then the one next to it, that one can also damage other units, but those have less health. So you have 3 towers total, and if someone is able to destroy all 3 of your towers, you lose, obviously. But the way that the game works is you have a steadily increasing set of resources. Well, it's 1 resource, it's Elixir, and it's from 0 to 10. And basically, you have a set of units that you can build into your little... It's got deck building, Dave. You can build these decks into your game. So you can have archers, you can have giants, you can have these sort of armored knight type things. You can have actual knights, you can have goblins. It's really neat. And basically, you have to manage your resources while you are still trying to attack and defend your own castle.
sounds cool.
It's pretty cool.
What's it called again?
It's called Clash Royale.
Speaking
Royale.
of units,
Oh, yeah, please. Go on.
have you played that game you picked up at PAX that has infinite armies?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. We are Legion. Yes, We Are Legion. Yes, I picked up 4 copies of We Are Legion at PAX South, and boy, oh boy, I played a few games with Mark, who was on the podcast last week, and it is just wacky. It's an RTS game, so a real-time strategy game, a la StarCraft, Age of Empires, games like that, except there is only 1 resource, and you do not have to... In those games, you have to build houses to store more units. In this game, there is no unit cap. You can literally build as many units as you can, so you wind up with games with hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of units just slamming their faces together on this giant battlefield. It's so wacky. It's so wacky. It's great. We Are Legion. I think I might even have 2 keys left, so maybe we'll be able to get another.
Tweet.
Cool. I have 1 key left.
Tweet why you want it.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
that.
if you tweet the Arcadia podcast,
Yeah, absolutely.
we might even follow you.
Maybe, maybe not.
Number 2 follow.
Yeah.
Our second
After
We'll
Arby's.
yeah, it's Arby's.
we make. If you reply, you'll definitely get on one of our lists. But we'll see if you get the full on follow, as it were.
we did promise Arby's that we would give them a full month of just following them. They haven't agreed to it, but we sent them like
Nor
a
did they
legal
listen
notice.
or even
Yeah.
like say anything.
Someday, Arby's.
I
We'll
think
get
it
you.
was certified mail, whatever. Yeah. So Clash Royale, We Are Legion, both really fun games. We Are Legion, obviously, you can't play on your phone. But there's another set of again phone games that I've been playing recently by this group called Ketchapp. Ketchapp, and Sarah knows about a few of these because I haven't stopped talking
I've
about
been
them.
swinging all day long.
One of them is called. All their games have these very short, simple names, and they're basically based on what you do in the game. The one that Sarah mentioned called Swing. Do you want to talk about it? Yeah.
You have a little character. Right now, my favorite character to play as that I've unlocked is a little piggy.
Mine is a bear.
Aw.
And so you are on a ledge, and there's a rope attached to the corner of the ledge, and you start walking back. And when you tap the screen, you swing from the rope to a ledge floating in the sky that you need to land on. Sometimes, it's 5 times your width. Sometimes it is half of your width. And sometimes it is even level with the platform you are on, and sometimes it is much lower. It is very hard. My high score is currently 20.
That sounds good. 20 sounds. I don't even know how the game works, but 20 sounds
that's
very
like
intimidating.
nothing. That's like I got to 5 ledges.
The cool thing about Swing is that you are trying to aim for the very center of these platforms, and their platforms are varying sizes. And if you land directly in the center, you get a bonus plus points to your score. If you do that again the next time, you get a bonus. It starts at plus
It's like
2,
a plus.
then you get plus 3, then you get plus 4, and that's the only reason that I've been able to do better than Sarah.
Oh, it's on.
But these guys, they have a ton of really cool, simple, fast games. Like one of the other ones they have is called Stack. And basically the way Stack works is you're building a tower. It's like reverse, it's at the same time Jenga, where you have a square that you're trying to land on top of another square, if that makes sense. Basically, you have the next tier of the tower slides in from either the right or the left, and you're trying to tap the screen in order to stop it. And then if you are successful in stopping any part of the square on the tower, it gets taller. If you're capable of stacking it directly on top, it makes a really cool noise, and I believe it's just the pentatonic scale. If you do 10 in a row, you get a bonus. But if you miss, your target space gets smaller and smaller each time.
It's a very good time waster.
It's great. It's great. It just basically allows you to just like tap and hear cool noises and do cool things. They've got so many. They've got so many cool games.
So a quick update from that Star Wars pinball research
please.
that I did in the last 17 minutes. So there are 3 Star Wars pinball machines. There are some Australian versions of the same pinball machine, the Sega one, I believe. And rumor has it that the next pinball machine that is about 2 away from Stern, which will be their first LCD display pinball machine, it goes by the name of Project Cinnamon Roll. And that only leads me to believe that Princess Leia is involved in this machine and that it is a Star Wars machine. I would be highly shocked if Stern does not capitalize on Star Wars, probably right around the time the 2nd film comes out in the new series, maybe the 3rd. So they can put the whole kind of story on the machine. But we know for a fact that the next pinball machine that Stern is making is Ghostbusters.
Was that official? I didn't.
It is official.
Oh, the hype is real.
And then we don't know the one after that, but again, rumor has it that it is a Star Wars within the next 3 machines. Usually they'll do a music-themed machine, a la Kiss, AC/DC, Metallica,
Elvis,
and
Rolling Stones.
I've heard some rumors on what that next one might be, but
I hope it's Leverette.
Yeah, right? Oh my god. Drain. It's just a drain machine.
Oh.
I love you, Cormac. Oh my god.
Dave,
He just started listening, so now we can actually...
Yeah, make fun of
I
him.
gotta argue. I went on the International Pinball Database, and I see 5 machines, so I don't know where you were looking.
There's one that is called Star Wars that has nothing to do with Star Wars.
What?
It's an old machine.
Yes.
Like before Star Wars existed.
Well, are you sure that it didn't inspire Star Wars, though?
It may be. It may
Is it
be
the source material for
inspiration.
the movies?
Let's be real.
based on the game, based on the
accurate.
book, based on the pinball machine.
The font is accurate.
I think that one of our repair people has a Star Wars machine. I cannot verify. I'm sorry.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about 20 minutes into the Arcadia National podcast.
This is where it gets good.
This is where it gets nice and quiet and good. And we're going to go ahead and pass this over to Dave for this week's fast food review. Dave, take it away.
I found myself on a Tuesday afternoon, and appetite needing to be satiated. I rolled down my window and asked the Wendy's employee for an Asiago chicken sandwich. Ingredients as follows: chicken sandwich, bun, Asiago spread, lettuce, bacon, tomato. As I took my first bite of said chicken sandwich, it inspired emotions. Those emotions: greed, lust, gluttony. I would say that this was not as good as the spicy chicken sandwich, which I think is the best chicken sandwich that Wendy's has to offer. I thought that the Asiago spread was a bit overdone. It was like having too much mayonnaise on a chicken sandwich. The bacon, lettuce, and tomato provided relief from the Asiago sauce. Alas, it was so vastly spread over the buns I had to wipe some off. I give the Asiago Chicken Club sandwich from Wendy's 6 on the Arby's scale of 1 to 10 Arby's.
Thank you so much, Dave, for that truly
Inspiring.
inspiring, insightful, and well put together.
You look really sweaty, Dave, after.
Are you all right? Did you just eat one? Is it too spicy?
I will say that the Arby's... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I work Arby's in again? I promise
believe you
I'm not
did.
paid to do that. The Wendy's Asiago chicken sandwich left me with a bit of a head sweat. But it was worth it.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Lovely.
Once again, I must remind our listeners that we are not at all sponsored by Arby's, and in
Yet.
no way, not yet, of course, but in no way are we actually sponsored by any major
Anyone, really.
food chains.
We have no sponsors. If you are interested in sponsoring the Arcadia National Bar podcast,
Please contact Arby's.
please contact Arby's and tell them to sponsor us.
But you could also email us at arcadianationalpodcast@gmail.com for any sponsorship notifications, Arby's. I played a new board game to bring us back just a little bit. I played a new board game that Dave ordered, and I actually got to unshrink wrap it. It was called And Then We Held Hands.
Aww.
It's cute. Yeah, exactly. It's a 2-player game. And
Well, wait.
Oh my gosh. It's basically, the premise is you are a couple working through some rough spots in your relationship.
No.
Be it known that I played with Rob Foley.
That
Rob
makes
Foley.
it cute.
Good friend of the podcast, Rob Foley.
What a great
Great guy. to Rob Foley.
Rob Foley. Clink, 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 clink.
clink,
Also
clink,
playing.
I hear
All
you
right.
once saying a live horse.
R.I.P. Roadshow.
Yeah, Rip Roadshow. So the way that And Then We Held Hands works is it's a non-verbal game.
Oh.
Exactly.
I want to know how many ohs we got from Amy in this podcast.
Aww.
Everything out of J-Lo's mouth.
It's it's non-verbal. So the basically the way the game works is that there's a set of concentric circles on the map, and you start on opposite sides, and there are a series of emotions that you're trying to travel through. Basically, there's 4 different. I forget the exact terminology that the game uses. There's 4 different emotions you're trying to travel through, and you do that through a series of, I think, about 8 different cards. And there's a really cool mechanic where half of each adjective card is one emotion, and the other half is a different emotion. And you can draw from your set of cards, I believe it starts at 6 or 7 cards. You can draw from your, it's co-op, you can draw from your partner's set of cards, and that is how you travel. That's how you move around, or the circles on the board. And then you have to move to specific sets of emotions in order to achieve certain goals. Once you achieve 6 goals, you're able to move into the next ring. So there's 4 rings. There's the outer ring, which is the biggest, and there's the next ring in, then there's the next ring in, and there's the very center. The goal of the game is for you both to wind up in the center together.
Aww.
And then you hold hands.
Aww.
But the big thing about it is each card has a different emotional weight, a different emotional shift. So if I play a card that is calming, that's considered a positive emotion. But then if I play one that is angry or sad, that's a considered negative emotion. So you have a 5-point scale that you're sliding between from the extreme of +2 and the extreme of -2, and that affects your movement. It's neat. It's neat, and the fact that it's nonverbal, I think, is one of the coolest things, because we played in kind of a low light at the bar, and we played one game and it messed up horribly, and then we played another one and we were able to hold hands and it was great.
So if you are in a troubled relationship, if you are having problems with your loved one, please come into the bar. We will give you, and then we held hands. We'll light some candles. We'll throw on some leverette, and
Please don't bring your own candles.
We'll see if you can work out your problems with, and then we held hands.
Don't bring your own candles. Don't bring your own
Fireworks. James.
Yeah, that happened once. They're banned.
I want to introduce a little new segment that is a things we supported on Kickstarter segment. And one of the things that we supported this past week was a Ninja Turtles game.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the premise of that, J-Lo, because you brought it to my attention and I said, yes, let's Ninja Turtle.
Oh, it's so neat. So it's a miniatures game, which means that it has mini figures, and each figure is representative of a different Ninja Turtle.
So this is not a video game.
It's
No,
not
this
a
is a
video
board
game. It is a
game.
board game.
Ooh.
If you've played Zombicide, it's similar to that. If you've played the Ghostbusters board game, it has elements akin to that. Basically, there is a modular map setup that is used basically to create these different environments. It is cooperative, but asymmetrical. So each of the different turtles you play has different powers that they can use, different weapons that they can use, and different abilities that will allow them to roll dice more effectively, hand dice to other players. Basically, a set of players plays as the turtles. You're the team, you're the good guys. But then another player gets to play as the bad guys.
Oh,
you get to play
man.
as the Foot Clan, as Shredder, as Bebop and Rocksteady, as Krang.
No way.
Yep, and so there's a ton of Kickstarter rewards that they met, obviously, because people are really excited. And the artists for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the comics and the original series have been involved in this, and it's really cool. And so basically you play through these different scenarios where you have the turtles versus the bad guys. And any game that pits, that is asymmetrical, I love. I think that's really cool. But any game where it's literally a team versus a single player who has some advantages as far as numbers go, as far as attacks go, and then versus the other team who is, considered the good guys are the main things. Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtle Power.
So the other games that we have backed on Kickstarter recently, we have Joking Hazards, which is the game by Cyanide and Happiness, which has got a bit of a Cards Against Humanity element to it. You are trying to complete a comic strip. Whoever comes up with the best punchline, so they set you up, and everybody chooses what they think is the best punchline, and a person chooses what is best there. If you are listening to this podcast the day that it comes out, which is a week from when we are recording it, this will be the last time you can get in on Zombie Tower 3D, which
Oh,
we
ow.
definitely
We
Have
definitely
we talked about
ordered.
that on the first
Yep,
episode? Yeah.
exactly. And this is the last day that you can get in on that. It is still active as of
Do
right
it
now.
now, do it now.
Yeah, you got to get on there right now.
Semi-cooperative, always the best.
Yep.
A really cool board and a really
It's
cool
3D.
interactive.
Yeah, who doesn't? 3D is the new technology that is going to take the world by storm. I swear.
Absolutely, the world.
So go ahead and check that out if you have time. We're about to wrap up the what episode is this? Fifth?
Five.
Episode 6.
Episode 6, yeah.
What?
No.
Episode 6, yeah, we had our
The mini
The
episode?
mini-sode.
No, that's a point.
Hey, you know what?
That's like 4.
This is episode 6.
Okay.
So we're about to wrap up. So before we go, parting words, everyone.
Let's see. I am really excited. I put a guava candy in my mouth, and now I'm drinking my margarita with the guava candy, and it just like elevated everything, and it's just like bringing it all to a nice whole finish. I'm very excited right now. I might just have to walk away. Bye, guys.
Bye,
There she
Sarah.
goes.
It was
She's
65
literally going
degrees
upstairs
today.
right now. She had no
Bye,
time
Sarah.
for us.
Yeah, it was a nice day today. I got nothing nerdy. Just that it was warm. I was outside
Me too.
walking to my car.
It's great.
It was
In
great.
the North Woods of Maine, as we are. So when you get a 60-degree day, everybody puts shorts on immediately.
It's so adorable. It's great.
All right, bye, Amy.
Bye.
There she goes.
See you
She's
guys
walking
later.
away.
Bye.
This is Dave signing off. Come play pinball with me. That's all I'm gonna say. I wanna play pinball with you. Or even if you're from away, like fly into the bar and play pinball with me. I will buy you 10 drinks. If you are from as far away as
I don't know,
Virginia on.
Chicago,
Yes, right. If you're
maybe.
Chicago, maybe.
And again, this is J-Lo. Have a good week, guys. Be nerdy, be awesome, play more pinball, play more games, and have a great week. Thank you.
Arcadia National Podcast is recorded in the basement of Arcadia National Bar in Portland, Maine. Though we are not yet sponsored by Arby's, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Podcast, or your favorite podcast app. Theme song was written and recorded by Toon Food, and our engineers are Andy and Amanda. Thanks, nerds. Bye!
Scootering
in the summertime, and I'm
Scootering
with girls on my mind, and I'm
Scootering
with a friend of mine today.
Scootering
Fun in the sun, cause I'm
Scootering
playing ska on my Walkman. I'm
Scootering
with a friend of mine.